Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Create with Lori Teen Take and Make. This week we're going to be weaving mug mats or coasters with yarn. So if you picked up a kit, you will have a square of cardboard, this funny little cardboard stapled together thing that turns out it's a needle, a cardstock ruler, and a pile of yarn. You'll have different colors, and the colors that you use are completely up to you. If you have other yarn that you would like to use, you can do so. Two things that you'll need from home: you'll need a pair of scissors, and you'll probably need a pen. I recommend a pen or a pencil, either one. So our first step is to make the loom, and that's why you have this little ruler. So what you can do is take your scissors and cut, actually I'm going to do this on the inches side, and cut right down along the edge of the ruler. Okay, so that you've got your lines to mark up. What we're going to do is cut little slits all along this side and this side of your piece of cardboard, and that will make the loom. And the important thing is that you have the same number on either side. So if you have 20 on this side, you want 20 on this side, okay? And the closer together you make your little cuts, the tighter the weave will be. It'll be a little more difficult to weave the other threads through, but your weave will be that much tighter. So what you should do is, with your pen or pencil and your ruler, mark off where you want your cuts to be. So I'm going to do, I'm going to put that there on the 0. I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's perfect. And then we'll flip it around and we'll do the same thing here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. The important thing is the number on either side, it matches. It's not as important that they're perfectly spaced out, because eventually you're going to cut your mug mat off the cardboard and then it'll fall into place. So just make a small cut on each of those little lines that you made, and then you will have your loom. You want the cuts to be deep enough to hold a piece of yarn, but they don't have to be very deep. Okay, and then we're going to turn it around and do the same thing on this side. Another thing that you will have found in your kit is some Thanksgiving goodies, because we don't have another kit that's going to come out before Thanksgiving, because there won't be a video uploaded on that day. So I thought I'd throw in some Thanksgiving goodies. So there's some coloring pages, a puzzle, and some thankful worksheets and cards. Worksheets makes it sound like school, but it's not school. Okay, so there we go. We have our loom. Now you need to decide what colors you want to use. I'm going to keep it simple and just use 2 colors so that you can see the pattern, but I'll also show you a way to work other colors in. So I think I'll start with blue. If I had thought this through, I would have blue and orange and I would make a Syracuse one, but I didn't think it through. So what you're gonna do is take your yarn and you're gonna hook it through like that. And then you're just gonna go back and forth. If I can get it through there. Where you have the yarn coming out there, you can tuck it in if you'd like. This is the back of your loom, okay? So you're just gonna wind it around into each of those little slits. There we go. You wanna wind it taut, but not so tight that you bend the cardboard, because if you bend the cardboard, you'll have a wonky shape to your mug mat and it won't be very stable. Okay, so just in each of those. Oop. So that's the end of the yarn that I picked. So we're just gonna end it there. Actually, we've got 1, 2 empty, so we're gonna keep 2 empty over here so that we have the same number. So we'll just tuck that in. Okay, so this is the back. We're gonna flip this over and there is the start of our weaving. So now you want to pick the color that's going to go up against it. And I think I like the yellow. As I said, if you have other yarn that you'd like to use, you're welcome to do so. You should have enough yarn. It's plenty to make at least a few, if not several, mug mats. Now what you're going to do is take this yarn and you're going to weave it through over and under and over and under and over and under all the way back, and then we're going to do it again. This is an easy way to do that. If you have a large plastic needle, you could also use that, but I wasn't certain everybody would have one, so I thought I would put in a cardboard needle. So what you're going to do is just take and put that through there. And then we're going to use this to weave. Now, I recommend this part here that has the catch, you want that to go down because that way it won't catch on the yarn. So basically we're just going under and over and under and over. You see, we're making a pattern, under and over, under and over. Okay, under. You don't want to do 2 in a row the same. Under and over, okay? Then you would just take it and pull it through. And there is your first line, okay? Now, if you want to use more than one color, what you can do is cut this off here and then do the same thing with your next one, okay? If you're going to do that, you want to leave it back here, okay? And then you could just cut this off and then you do another one. I'm going to just keep going with the yellow. So we're going to pull that through. Whoop. Looks like I've got a knot. You want to make sure you get any of the knots out of your yarn before you weave it through, because a knot will show. See, I've got that one there. So let's take that out. We're just going to cut it off. Okay, so got my yellow pulled through. You want to leave a good sized tail, because when this is all done, what we're going to do is tie them off. So you also want to leave a little bit of a tail here, because when it's all said and done, you're going to also tie these off. Actually, you know what? You don't have to, because we're going to cut that in the back. So I misspoke. You can get that up there as tight as you can. Okay, so now we go back through, going in the other direction. Remember, you want to leave a tail here. So we're going to go, we went over this one, so we're going to go under it and just continue across. Following in the same pattern, just on opposite threads. Okay, so where you went over the first time, you're going to go under, and where you went under the first time, you're going to go over. So we've got that all the way across. So we're going to pull that through. I'm going to be careful not to catch that. Pull that through like that. And pull it all the way through until you've got a tail. And then you can take and squish those right up next to it. Okay? And then we're going to do the same thing. And you just keep going back and forth, alternating the pattern and leaving a tail each time. So we went over, this time we're going to go under. And then just continue across, going opposite. Like I said, you can do this with your fingers. Believe it or not, it is actually a little trickier to do with your fingers than it is to do with this needle. Okay, over and under and over and under and over and under. Okay, and pull that through. Squish that right up there. Okay. And we're just going to keep going. And when you get it through, it's not a bad idea to stop and look and make sure that you've got your pattern, and we do. So we're going to pull it through. You could use a bigger piece of cardboard and make placemats using this technique. Okay. Now, say we wanted to alternate and put in another color. We want to create some kind of pattern. So we'll take this and cut it with a tail. And grab another color. And do the same thing. We're going to put the yarn into the little needle. We're going to start over here. Now this one went over, or it went under, so we're going to go over. And just make sure you've got your patterns and pull it through. And that's how easy it is to change colors. Since we're going to just do one string of purple, we'll leave it like that. And squish it up there. Okay. And cut it off, leaving tail. And you can do that with every color as you go along. Or you can do like I started and just keep going with the same color through the whole thing. All right, so I'm going to work my way through this and finish it off, and then I will show you how to tie it. Okay, just put that through there. And just make sure you're alternating over, under, over, under, over, under, and also this way, over, under, over, under. You're basically doing a giant checkerboard. A giant but very tiny checkerboard. Okay. Okay. Make sure your pattern's lined up, and there we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and I will show you how to tie off your work. So when you release it from the loom, it doesn't just become a bunch of threads of yarn. Getting down to the end. You can see I didn't really do a pattern. I just threw some colors in there that I like, and I think we'll go another row or two with the yellow. As you get closer to the end, it does get a little more difficult to get those to weave through. It gets pretty tight. So let's just do over and under and over and under. Whoop. This is where it gets a little easier to do if you do have one of those plastic needles with the big eye to put the yarn through. As you can see, the cardboard is pretty tight through there. Okay, so I think this will be my last row. So we'll pull that through. Okay, so we'll pull that through. Cut that off with our tails. Okay. Now, the first thing is if you have any that are looped like that, you want to cut those apart. So any of these that are looped, if you just went back and forth across, cut those apart. Carefully and without pulling them through, but you want to make sure you have all of your ends loose. Okay. Oop, one more. So what we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is stabilize the cross threads. And to do that, we're going to take them two at a time. Okay, so we take the first two here, and we're just going to tie them together. Not tightly, just 1, 2, okay? And we'll go to the next two. And 1, 2. Okay, so we're going to go all the way across. The longer you leave your little tails, the easier this part is to do. One, two. Okay. Now, if like me, you end on an odd number, just take one of those and tie it with the one on the end. Okay. Now we're going to turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, and again, when you get down to this side, just make sure you tie them all off. So we had an odd number, we'll have an odd number on this side. Okay, so we just take the one, tie it off with that last one. Okay, so now we have our cross threads all tied off. Now we want to do the same thing with these. This one is a little different, okay? What you're gonna do is flip it over. You're gonna take your scissors and you're gonna cut right up the middle. But do not release it from the loom yet. You want to do that 2 at a time, okay? So we're going to take the first 2 and pull those off and tie them together, just like we did across here. Okay, so 1, 2, okay? And then take the next 2 and tie those together. 1, 2, okay? And so you're going to do that all the way across. Take them off 2 at a time and tie them together. You're basically tying them around the other threads so that they don't just pull out. Okay? And the same thing, if you end up with an odd number across, keep hold of one and pull the other one out and just tie that off together there, okay? And then take the one from the corner and one of the ones from the side and tie those together. 1, 2, okay? And then we're going to go back here. We're going to take one of the ones from here and one of the ones, whoop, here. You want the 2 that are closest together in the corner, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to tie those together. All right. Did I miss one? I did. I missed one. Okay, that happens. I missed one in the middle, so we're going to take that one. We're going to tie it off with the one next to it. Okay, so there we go. We've got those all tied off. Now we're going to do the same thing going across the other side. We're going to take them off 2 at a time and tie them together. And this time I'll try to take them all off 2 at a time and not leave one behind. Okay. As you get closer to the end, your mug mat or your coaster is going to be almost free. So you want to be really careful not to pull those off until you're ready to tie them. Okay. You can see what you're actually doing is tying around the cross thread. So you're actually tying them right onto it. And there's those. And those now, because I missed one on the other side. If I did it right this time, I should have exactly an even number, and I do. So we'll tie those on, or tie those together. And then we'll take one and we'll tie it to that corner. Okay, and we'll go back here and do the same thing with the blue and the yellow. Okay, now we can set our loom aside and we've got our little mug mat. And what you can do is with your scissors, just go around and kind of straighten them out like that. I mean, you can leave it like this if you want, but you can also just go around and kind of trim them down so they're fairly even all the way around. They don't have to be perfect. You could make them intentionally wonky if you want to. I think mine are going to be wonky whether I do it intentionally or not. Okay, and just carefully trim them, leaving these don't want to lay flat. Okay. All right. And there you have a mug mat or a coaster. It's the perfect size for a mug. Now, I don't recommend throwing these in the wash. If you use it and you spill something on it, hand wash it gently and just let it hang to dry, okay? Otherwise you run the risk of it all falling apart. But there you go, a nice mug mat. And you should have plenty of yarn, I know I do, plenty of yarn left over after doing this to make at least one more, if not two more. And you can always use other yarn that you have at home. And your little needle here, you can always make more of these. It's just simply a strip of cardboard bent at the top to make the eye of the needle and then stapled. You could tape it to stop that from having an edge. And your, if you like how it came out, your loom can be used over and over and over again as long as you do it carefully. Okay? Well, thanks for joining me. I hope that you had fun today. I hope everybody has a nice Thanksgiving, and we will be back after Thanksgiving for more Take and Make crafts. Thanks. I'm Lori, and you can find me here on the Manlius Library YouTube channel every Thursday, except for Thanksgiving, at 4 o'clock. Thanks. Have a great day, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.